wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, come back with me, Nayla Rizqiyah from class 4D. Here I will tell you about a novel by Wei Hui, entitled Shanghai Baby. This novel tells a story of love, sex, and self-discovery based in China. Shanghai Baby, first published in 1999, has been a bestseller of the year. This novel was not the first work of female writer Wei Hui, but its appearance was shocking, and early the following year, the Beijing Publication and Press Agency on behalf of the PRC government declared the book pornographic and immoral, and was immediately banned in various areas throughout China. Hundreds of thousands of copies of the Shanghai Baby book were published, burned. Her publishing office was banned for over 3 months, and the 26-year-old feminist writer Wei Hui was pressured by party authorities, criticized by the mass media, humiliated, and heavily criticized for her book. Set in the post-millennial city of Shanghai, this book tells the story of Nikki, alias Coco, a young Shanghai woman who graduates from Fudan University who leaves journalism and becomes a cafe waitress, then falls in love with Tian, a young, fragile artist who is seriously ill. With frustration, Coco was helpless. Coco decided to continue his personal ambition to write a novel that would blow up the whole city like fireworks. Before long, he became involved in a passionate affair with a married German expat named Mark. Soon, Coco realized she was caught between the worlds. One centers on the value of love and sacrifice. Others center on passion and betrayal. When his German lover had to leave him, this book describes quite clearly the hustle and bustle of the city. Tall buildings, street corners of public facility, and other details that are typical of a big city atmosphere. Shanghai itself has an important cultural and political history in the past and is a hope for the present and the future. Hacking history, the cultural diversity in Shanghai is like scooping up multinational water with a bucket in the open ocean. It's endless. What we can easily witness now, among others by listening to the novel Shanghai Baby, is the fact that the city has become a clear example of the influence of Western modernization in China, but physically and internally. Shanghai Baby presents a surprising side-by-side of the urban atmosphere of modern China, including the socio-cultural setting of Shanghai. At the same time, he also explained the process of finding the identity of the younger generation of China, which he called Generation Y, born in the 72nd, no longer experiencing the doctrinal days of Chairman Mao, who had died. In a passage, the main female character, Coco, comments on her parents. Our ways of thinking are too different. We are separated by a gap of 100 generations. The talks contained in the story of character Coco and his friends are repeatedly described as inner conflicts and wars that juxtapose love and hate. Loss and passion itself becomes the thick blood of the main character's life. This war, among others, is clearly seen in the first chapter, which describes how Coco views the nuance of superiority in the city of Shanghai. He likes it as well as hates it. Qian, his girlfriend, is also described as a kind, loving, and trusting person like a dolphin, but has a great capacity to hate his own grandmother, whom he considers to have abandoned himself for more than 10 years. Maybe also to Machian Nippon, yes, the Machianabi young age. Coco also admits that she was envious of her cause. Suza, who was a high-class, elegant woman and had high dignity in society but didn't deny the fact that they could be good friends to talk to. The whole novel centers on Coco's struggles as a result of her and Qian. She also expressed guilt when she cheated on him with more. The cruelty of his orientation, but at the same time has to admit that she instinctively loves satisfaction from marks, which she can get from Qian. War also arises from the love between Coco and her second parent, who she considers old-fashioned. At the end of it all, he finds himself crying in eternity and returns to his parents' house. This book is indeed a semi-autobiographical fiction of the song, which illustrates that he knows very well what he wants and what an author should be. Reading Shanghai Baby is like following the author's long tale of spiritual exploration before he published a book that is, as he had planned from the start, controversial and world-stirring. Unfortunately, this is what then overdoses every step of Wei Hui's prose, which is actually quite amazing. Unfortunately, this is what then overdoses every step of Wei Hui's prose, which is actually quite amazing. Every thought, every inch of the author's head seeming to be reaching the corner of the story, making pocket and paying to complicate to the case. The discussion of the core of the problem becomes too shallow, hidden in the back of thought. The structure is also tortuous, making the reader have to concentrate longer to find the content of the story. One had to admit Wei Hui was smart enough to be able to continue to haunt himself later on. We just have to wait for the female writer to discover her other story break free from the restraints to write. sharpen her nails, and pick up the pen. New, more mature and promising ideas. Attention for now, the Shanghai Baby attracts with its raunchy portrayal of the new generation of Chinese and their interests, pop culture, love, labels, libido, commercialisms from the open, as well as market and talent opportunities, gender issue, nationalisms, and generational gaps. However, it shall also be borne in mind that the young generation of Shanghai is somewhat different from the younger generation of Chinese in rural areas. For example, Shanghai is far more advanced, first recognizing modernization and multinational life. Western-style thinking. The Shanghai teenagers' lifestyle cannot be described in a generous was with the lifestyles of other Chinese teenagers outside. That's all the story that I have to say. I apologize for the rest of the story. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.